So one shelf has prompted a pretty ruthless unhaul. I just finished my last one shelf episode and there were a lot of books on there that I realized I didn't necessarily want to read or need to have on my shelves. And so I'm like, okay, then it's time. It's time to do a purge. I've been avoiding the shelf purge because right now I feel like they are a good level of full and I want to have pretty shelves, but I can rearrange. I can fill in space. I can open up space for new books, but as I'm looking at these, they just don't consistently reflect what I'm currently reading. They don't consistently reflect what I want to read, what I would recommend, what I'm excited to see sitting there. So we're gonna unhaul some books. I actually haven't done it yet. I'm filming this intro prior to the unhaul. We're gonna see how many I end up yanking off of these shelves. I'm gonna try to be relatively ruthless and only keep things that I'm interested in reading or that I think I will recommend or I loved, something like that, like things that I have a reason that I want to keep on the shelf. Wish me luck. Let's go see how many books I end up pulling off. The books have been pulled. I am back. I spent probably 20 or 30 minutes just yanking things off of my shelves. They're in giant piles. No, I will not have any organization in this unhaul for you guys. It's just gonna exist. Let's go through all of the books that I'm going to be unhauling. Some of these will end up on Pango if they're like a special edition, but some of them I'm going to be taking to my local charity shop because I really want other people to get exposed to books as well. If I don't like it or if I don't want to read it, that doesn't mean that somebody else might not want to. So I definitely want to share the love. Starting us off though is going to be a recent Fairy Loot book, and that is the Starlight Heir. I have not heard good things about this book and I don't just love this edition. We got it in the Romantasy box and I was really hoping that I was going to enjoy it. That's the reason I didn't skip it, but Cassidy recently read it. I don't think she loved it and I do trust Cassidy's taste. So I think I'm going to be unhauling this one. This is one that I will probably put up on Pango in case anybody missed out on it and wants to get it. Another special edition that I pulled off was my fabled edition of To Carve a Fey Heart by Tassandra Odette. I have read a book by this author before and found it just generally fine, but I didn't love her writing style. I didn't love her character work or her world building. So I don't think that this one is going to be for me either. Again, I got it hoping that I was going to love it, but unfortunately I just don't think that this author is going to be for me. Also, we are doing this relatively rapid style because if we don't, we'll be here for over an hour because there are a lot of books. If you want to know anything more about these books, pause the video, grab the title, go check it out on Goodreads. The next one in the pile is Ranger of Marzana by John Scrivon. I just am not really in the mood to read this anymore. I think that this is an epic fantasy. It's got warring siblings and magic. If I ever decide that I want to read this, I can always repurchase it or get it from the library. And I do love this cover. I'm talking myself literally out of unhauling this, but like if it came up on one shelf, would I want to read it? I don't know that I would, so I need to get rid of it. I need to not have things on my shelves that I don't want to read. But I think that this could be something that I would enjoy in the future, so I'm going to keep it in the back of my mind, but it does not need to be on my shelves. I'm going to be unhauling We Ride the Storm by Devin Madsen. I have read this book. I enjoyed it. I gave it like a high 3-star, but I didn't enjoy it enough and it wasn't memorable enough for me to continue in the series. So since I'm not going to be continuing on in the series, I don't own any of the other books. I don't necessarily think that I need to keep this one on my shelves, which is sad because I do love this cover, but the book felt a little disjointed to me where I wasn't really able to feel in it with a lot of the characters, and so I just don't think that I remember enough about it or cared enough about it to continue on in the series. Then we have Blood of an Exile by Brian Nosland. I don't really have the best of reasons for why I'm going to be unhauling this other than I'm just no longer interested in it. And I don't really know what it is that makes me not interested in it, but there's just something about it. I don't think it's gonna be for me. It's about a dragon slayer, which does sound interesting, but it also, the like blurb and the first little bit of this book reads a little too formal. I'm not just in love with the writing style, so I think I'm gonna unhaul this one. So why do I own this book? This is Elgric of Melonbone? How the heck do you say that? This is like a super classic fantasy. Why do I own this? I don't know why I own this. There is no reason for me to own this. I don't like classic fantasy. I've never liked classic fantasy. I like newer stuff with different ideas and flipping classic fantasy on its head, but I'm not a huge classic fantasy person. This is not any shade to anybody that loves classic fantasy. It's just not for me. So why is it still on my shelves? I do not know, but we're gonna get it off the shelves. I feel like I should put another disclaimer that if I'm unhauling a book that you absolutely loved, I mean nothing by that other than it's just not for me. But that does not mean that you have bad taste. That does not mean that you shouldn't love the book. Like, I am thrilled if people love these books, and that's part of the reason that I'm getting them off my shelves, is to hopefully give them to other people that will love them, because they just weren't for me. I'm gonna be unhauling The Immortal Dark. I did read this one. It was a lower 4-star for me. I enjoyed it. I have no desire to read the sequel, so that's part of the reason this is gonna go. It's a gothic vampire story. I think what this book tried to do was really impactful, really powerful, but I just wasn't invested enough in the characters themselves and like the romance mostly for me to want to continue on in the series. So I will be unhauling this. I think this is something that is important to get like into the hands of some other people. We're also going to be unhauling Road of Bones. This is another one that I read the first book. It was generally fine, even though it's a duology. I do not plan to continue, therefore I do not need to keep this book. This is a beloved Viking romantasy, and I hate that it's not beloved to me, but I just found it to be kind of boring. I didn't really feel invested in the story, and so we need to get rid of this one as well. Moving on to Cold Iron by Miles Cameron. This is just one that as I look at my shelves, I just go, I'm not drawn to you. There's nothing about the synopsis that makes me just say, yes, I need to keep it on my shelves. And so that's why I'm going to be unhauling this one, is just simply because if it came up on one shelf, I wouldn't want to pick it up. And that's really the whole point of this unhaul, is to make my bookshelf something that I want to pick up every book that I have. To Kill a Shadow by Catherine Quinn. This is a young adult romantasy that I actually was pretty excited to read, but I have had some reviews from people that I trust telling me that this is not going to be a book for me. And because of that, I'm going to trust people that know my taste, and I'm going to get it off of my shelves because I do not want another vlog full of DNFs. Lord of the Fading Lands by C.L. Wilson is probably going to hurt some people's souls. I picked this up because I've heard really good things about this author. This is a book I want to pick up when I want to pick it up, but not a book that I need sitting on my shelves. Like, this feels like a library book for me because I don't know if it's going to be for me. I think it's going to be a little too, like, not classical fantasy, but like classical setting maybe, that I will likely not appreciate to its fullest. So I am going to be unhauling this one as well. We are really rapid firing through these. All right, next up we have Spindle of Life. This one was gifted to me, so thank you so much for gifting it to me, but I'm just not interested in it anymore. It is a Rumpelstiltskin retelling. Rumpelstiltskin, not exactly my most favoritist of the fairy tales. I'm not sure why I thought this book was going to be for me, but I don't know, maybe one day I'll decide to pick it up. I just don't gravitate toward it. It's not something that I look at my shelves and go, yes, if that comes up, I want to read that, so it's gotta go. Oh, I need to wait a minute before I show off those because I'm gonna hurt some people's feelings. Okay, let's talk about the Combat Codes trilogy. I think I'm gonna unhaul all 3 of these. I have read every one up to Blacklight Reborn, but unfortunately, while Combat Codes I gave a 4-star, it was a low 4-star. Griever's Blood was a disappointment for me and did not love it. I am not in my sci-fi era anymore. I haven't been for a while, and so Blacklight Reborn just does not call to me anymore. It's a book that I will probably read at some point, but again, it's a book that I can easily get from the library. I don't feel like I liked this series enough to keep it on my shelves, but I think somebody will absolutely adore having this whole trilogy. This is actually The Final Strife by Sarah L. Arifi. I am going to be unhauling this one. I have read this, actually really enjoyed this first book. I think I gave it a 4-star. It's very blood classes. It has some really great character moments in it. It is sapphic, but I did not absolutely love the second book in the series, and I don't think I plan to finish the trilogy because I don't like the direction that the second book went. It felt very different from this one, so I think that I just need to unhaul this. Also, I can't get the matching editions to this, and I am a matching editions kind of gal, so even if I did read the series and love the third book, I would want matching editions of the books, and I cannot get that, so I'm going to be unhauling this. Maybe one day I will decide to get the full set. The Jasad Heir by Sarah Hashim. This is another duology that I like went back and forth on for a while. Was I going to read it? Was I not going to read the final installment? I wasn't really sure. This was a 3-star book for me. It has such a cool world. It's like an Egyptian setting and has enemies to lovers, and theoretically I should have loved it, but I just felt very disconnected to this book, and so I don't need to keep a special edition when, again, I'm probably never going to get the matching editions, and I just don't feel like it's something I'm going to be readily recommending. It's not a duology that I actively plan to finish, so I'm going to be pulling this one off the shelves as well. A couple more special editions to Cage a God. This was something that I got in the Illumicrate box. I was just out of skips and was like, I need to get this. I have since canceled Illumicrate because I had too many of these. This is a very pretty edition, but when you open it, like, that just screams not Mel. And I don't know, after reading the synopsis of this and digging into it a little bit more, I don't think this is a Mel book. And again, if it's not a book that I'm gonna enjoy, I don't need it on my shelves. And then when this gonna hurt people's feelings, it's really gonna hurt some people's feelings. And I'm terribly sorry, this is not me saying that I don't enjoy your favorite book, but that is She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. This was on my self-destruct TBR. If I didn't read it, it was gonna self-destruct at the end of the year anyway, and I think I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of it now. The super historical setting I don't think is necessarily going to be for me. I've heard this book is relatively slow. Have not heard the best things about the sequel from people that loved the first book, and I can't get matching editions of it. This one is gorgeous, but it is an Illumicrate exclusive. The time has passed to buy the second book in the series, and I just feel like somebody else will appreciate this book much more than me. Does that mean I'm never gonna read it? No, I may eventually read it. It sounds really, really interesting, but it's just not something I need on my shelves right now. I know I feel like a broken record, but it's the truth. Okay, and then I have a series that I'm planning to get rid of, and that's for a very specific reason. That is the Wizards of Once series. It's the full set of hardcovers. I actually really enjoyed this series when I read it, but I am not reading middle grade anymore, and that's just because I'm just not interested in it. There's no real reason other than that. But I think that this book and this series is so much fun and so good that I want to give this to my local charity shop so that hopefully some kid can pick up this entire series and it really get them into reading. I think that's important. So I'm going to be unhauling this series and hopefully it will find a new loving home. Very, very similar reason why I'm going to be unhauling Amari and the Night Brothers. I loved these first two books when I first read them. I don't think I'm going to continue in the series just because, again, I'm out of that kind of mood, that phase of my life, but I really enjoyed these books and I think these are very, very important to get into the hands of young readers. So these are going to be going to my local charity shop as well. Then we have Queen of Days. I'm really undecided about this one, honestly. So if you think I should keep this, let me know. I don't know about The Frozen Crown, which is the author's previous work, but it's a standalone fantastical heist, which does sound good, but it says it's perfect for fans of Lies of Locke Lamora, which I have DNF'd 3 times. I just can't get into the writing of that book as much as I want to. So even though this is short, it just, because of that comparison, does really scare me and doesn't scream at me. So I think I'm gonna unhaul this for now. All right, hurting people's feelings again. I think I'm gonna unhaul Bride. I am not fully decided on this one. I did try an Omegaverse. It was okay. It wasn't like the end all be all for me. It didn't make me love Omegaverse, but there's something about this book that I am not at all drawn to, and I can't 100% tell you what it is because I know this is beloved. Like, I know people adore this book, but it's something I can easily repurchase if I decide that I want to read it. But right now, this Mel is not wanting to read it. This Mel is a little scared of Omegaverse still. Even though I didn't hate Rabid, which is the one that I read, I was not absolutely in love with it, and Shifters and I are just not getting along at the moment. So this one's gotta go. While I'm hurting people's feelings, I am going to unhaul Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. This one is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, so I might put these up on Pango in case anybody is interested in it. But this is, again, just not going to be a book for me. I've had several people read it, several people that I really, really trust that tells me this is not a Mel duology, this is not a series I'm going to enjoy. So rather than me read it and not like it and really hurt your feelings, I figured I would just go ahead and get them off of my shelves so that we didn't have that problem. See, I'm doing you all a favor. Okay, moving on to an Illumicrate edition that I've had for a while. This is The Sun and the Void by Gabriela Romero Lacruz. This is a very fairy tale-esque type book, and again, just not a book that I think that I'm personally going to enjoy. I don't really like fairy tale-esque, very whimsical type stories, and I did not necessarily know that about myself when I got this book. It's actually a pretty old Illumicrate exclusive, and so while I have had it on my shelves, I've been really interested in it because it's really, really pretty. I just think I know myself well enough now to know that this is not something that I need to keep. We also have The Gods Below by Andrea Stewart. This is not one that I disliked. I read it a couple of months ago and did pretty much enjoy it, but I don't think it's a series, again, that I plan to continue. While I liked it, I don't feel compelled, like I don't feel attached to the characters or the plot to continue on in this series, and if I'm not going to continue on in the series, I don't need to keep the first book. We want books that I'm actively going to recommend and need on my shelves for some reason, and this is not one of those books. Okay, moving on to Murder Road. this is a Evernight exclusive edition, and I don't know why I didn't skip this book. I don't know, I messed up. But I really actually liked a couple of Simone St. James's books in the past, but her formula is getting a little old, and I have not enjoyed the last couple of books that I've read from her. So again, other people have read this, told me I'm not gonna like it. I'm gonna listen to them, and I'm going to be unhauling this one. It's a very cool edition, so hopefully somebody will find it and love it. And I'm gonna unhaul The Last Word. I don't know why I still have this. I Don't Come For Me did not love his other book. What was that book even called? But I've heard really bad things about this. I don't need this. I have nothing else to say. I don't need to keep this. Okay, I think I'm going to unhaul Middle Game, not because I didn't enjoy this, but just because I don't, again, plan to continue on in the series, and I think that this book did really, really well by itself. It was enough for me, but I also don't ever plan to reread it, nor is it a type of book that I actively recommend on my channel. So I think that I am going to just be unhauling this so that somebody else can read it, but I do really like this book. I think that what it did really uniquely well. It's just not something that I need to personally keep. Okay, then we have The Nesting by C.J. Cook. This I could not tell you a single thing about, and yes, I have read it, therefore I do not need to keep it. It is gothic, it is isolation, and I think there might be like some version of supernatural something or another in it. Actually, I lied. I have not read this one. I have read The Lighthouse Witches, which I have already unhauled. Maybe I keep this one. I might keep that one. Rewind, try again. Next up, Five Total Strangers by Natalie D. Richards. This is one that I bought for 72 Hours in the Haunted House because I just wanted a bunch of short horror to read, and I just bought a bunch of things and some things that I really am not overly interested in. I know, don't come for me, that was dumb, but I did it. So here we are. We're going to be unhauling this. I'm no longer interested in this. Probably wasn't interested enough to buy it to begin with. I'm going to do better. One that I'm just really not sure about, honestly, is The Master of Jinn by Peach Jelly Clark. I've read the prequel to this and I enjoyed it, but again, I've not been in my sci-fi era recently, and this is like a steampunky sci-fi, so I just don't know that it's something that I am going to really want to read right now. If you think this is a book that I could love, please let me know in the comments and I will consider pulling it out of these boxes, because this is one of those books that I'm kind of on the fence about, but when I just look at it and I'm just pulling things off that I think I'm not going to be interested in reading, this just happened to make the cut. Okay, you may see some familiar ones. I'm going to be unhauling The Bargainer. This is the full bind up of the series, which makes me sad, but I just did not like the last book. It takes up a lot of room on my shelves, and I don't foresee this being a series that I remember fondly enough overall to recommend, so we're gonna unhaul this, and it kind of makes me sad. And then also Bound to the Shadow Prince by Ruby Dixon. I just DNF'd this one as well. I think this is going to be good for other people, but this very slow, character-driven, methodical, it just wasn't for me. I didn't like the main character enough, I didn't like the guy enough, and I didn't care. Next up are a couple that I asked Cassidy if I should keep or get rid of, and she was like, they need to go. The first one is The Empire of Sand. Cassidy doesn't seem to think that I'm probably going to enjoy this. I was very on the fence about this one. I wasn't sure if I was gonna love it anyway, so that's just the kick in the pants that I need to get it off the shelves. Then she also suggested I get rid of Feybound. I was only kind of sort of interested in this to begin with. It has elves, and with me really not enjoying the second book in the Final Strife series, I was like, same author, am I going to like that? And again, I have people that I trust telling me probably not, so I'm just going to remove this as well. And then we have 1,000 Doors of Artaban. This thing is chunky, like 900 pages chunky, and I am not in enough of a fantasy mood. Even if I was in a fantasy mood, I've heard this is very slow and quite boring, and so I don't need to keep slow and quite boring when I'm trying to get back into my fantasy era. Another one is Daughter of the Forest. This one is one that feels very not me, but I know people that it's also not them that have enjoyed it, so I'm like, should I keep it? Should I keep it? No, I really shouldn't. This is not going to be something that I want to read for one shelf, although it could be a veto and I can just read it when I feel like it, but I don't know when I'm ever going to be in the mood for something like this. It's very apparently slow, character driven, gut wrenching. It's a book I do eventually want to read, but I think that I need to get it from the library when I do want to read it, and then if I love it I can always repurchase it later, but I think this is an important message kind of book and it needs to be off of my shelves and out in the world. We're running out of box space. Next we have The King Killing Queen. This is another one I had on my wish wish list because it just sounded vaguely interesting and I need to stop doing that. I need to quit using my Amazon wish list as I want to read. That's what Goodreads is for. And only put things on my Amazon wish list that I actively want to own, whether that be books that I've read and enjoyed and definitely want to have on my shelves to recommend, or whether that be things that I'm excited to pick up. Like I need books on my shelves that I actively want to read, and I'm seeing a couple more that I'm just like, I could get rid of you, I could get rid of you, I could get rid of you. So I need to work on getting my shelves basically uncluttered, and this is just not one that I'm actively interested in anymore. You saw me unhaul this one in one shelf, but that's Kiss the Fae. I read the first chapter of this and Lovin was used and I just was like, nope, I'm out. So I decided that I'm going to be unhauling this one. I don't think the writing style is for me. Then we have The Lost War by Justin Lee Anderson. This was an SPFBO winner actually that got picked up by Orbit. I did not dislike my time with this, but overall felt relatively bored and did not feel like the twist was as shocking and amazing as everybody seemed to think that it was. So I don't plan to continue on in the series. Also don't really love these covers. So it's not pretty. I'm not going to continue on the series and I didn't love it. It needs to not be on my shelves anymore. That one should not be here. Okay, next. The Chestnut Man. I keep keeping this on my shelves thinking that I'm going to read it. I'm not. I've had this book since 2019. I'm not going to read this. Slow, detective, Russian, I think? Slavic? Not for me. Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. I actually did enjoy this book. I just, again, don't think that it's one that I actively need to keep on my shelves. I liked it, but it wasn't like a 5-star incredible book. It's not one that has overly stuck with me. It is about a serial killer. I do think that it's good, and if you want to read it, you absolutely should. I just don't need to keep it on my bookshelf. Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. This is, again, another book of the month from a long time ago. I just want book of the month books off of my shelves. Honestly, I don't love this thing. I have not read this yet. I will eventually read it, but this is a book that I can easily get from the library. I don't need a physical copy of it. Okay, still going strong. How many books is this at this point? The Empire of Silence by Christopher Ruscio. I eventually do want to read this, but not in my sci-fi era. Will not enjoy this right now. I will repurchase it later if I decide to pick it up, if I ever get back into my sci-fi era. But since I don't know when that's going to be, if ever, don't need to keep this. Dense sci-fi / fantasy, but dense being the key word. The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher. I have read this. I liked it, but it was a 3-star read for me. The Hollow Places is the only T. Kingfisher that I have just absolutely adored, and I do plan to keep that one. I was keeping this one because I liked the cover, but this book itself for me didn't really work, so I don't need to keep it anymore. The Chalk Man by C.J. Tudor was again a book that was generally fine for me. I don't have a huge recollection of it. I don't remember loving it or hating it. May books are not staying on my shelves. We are getting rid of meh books, so that's really the main reason why I'm unhauling this one. Okay, keeping going. Silver Nitrate. This is a Lumicrate exclusive, but again, people that have read this book said it's not going to be a Mel book. It's going to be a little too slow for me, not quite horror enough. I know my taste in horror are very specific, and so this book is gorgeous. I want to make sure that somebody that wants it is able to get it. A Bad Day for Sunshine by Deandra Jones. I actually have read several books from this author and quite enjoyed them. This one was fun. It is just a murder mystery kind of style, but it definitely was not like a new favorite. It's not a series I plan to continue. It's not a book that I think about enough to actively recommend, so I'm going to be unhauling it as well. A Sky for Fire by Jen Lyons. This book is a standalone dragon fantasy that I actually did like. I thought the characters were really interesting, but it just didn't do a whole lot for me. And again, it was a 3-star, it might have been a 4-star read, but it's just not something that I look at and go, yes, I loved you. I actually want to see you on my shelves. It's just a book that I enjoyed, so we're going to be unhauling it. 2 books by David Deglish, Soulkeeper and Ravencaller. These are books 1 and book 2. I have tried the first chapter of this one before, did not love it. I gave it like a 5 out of 10. It was very boring. The writing style wasn't really working for me, so I have decided that it's just time. I don't need to keep 2 books that I know that I'm probably not going to like, because I've read a chapter and I didn't like it. And I read a chapter and didn't like the writing style, so it's not that the book with more time would work for me. If I don't like the writing, we're probably not ever going to be a win. Then 3 books that I actually did enjoy. Parasite, Deadline, and Feed by Mira Grant. I actually love Mira Grant, but these books they don't match. Now granted, I know Parasite's a completely different series, but you cannot get matching editions, at least not matching editions in the way that I have them, and I hate that. I hate that they're different heights. I hate that they look so funny on my shelves. That's shallow. I know that is shallow. It annoys me, so even though I liked these books and I do plan to continue in both series eventually, not going to keep them on the shelves. I am finally going to be getting rid of Book of Accidents like Lexi told me to when she visited me for my birthday over a year ago. Last birthday, not this birthday. She told me to unhaul this and I said, Now I'm gonna listen to Lexi. She said it's slow. She said she doesn't think I'm going to enjoy it. I do plan to try another book from this author in the future, but I've had this book on my shelves for too long because it's pretty and I need to trust my people. I need to trust the people that tell me I'm not gonna like this. Also going to be unhauling Slewfoot. While this book is absolutely gorgeous, I gave it a 3-star. It was fine, but Brom, this time period, just not really my style. Again, it's a book that I tend to put facing out because I think that it's gorgeous, but I don't need to keep it. I have no reason to have this on my shelves. Another 2 books from one shelf that are going to look familiar, A Promise of Fire and A Breath of Fire. I DNF'd A Breath of Fire. The characters were driving me insane. The romance was not working for me, and that's the whole point of reading a fantasy romance, is to enjoy the romance, and I didn't like it. And the plot just wasn't enough to carry me, so I'm going to be unhauling the first and the second book. I said in one shelf I was going to keep this for a later video, and then the more I thought about it, the less I wanted to read it, and that is Mask of Shadows. I read the first chapter. It was fine, but the writing was just like meh, and the characters were like meh, and I just don't think that there's anything about this that makes me go, ooh, you're my next read, like you're my next 5-star, I need to keep you, so we're just gonna get rid of it. Another one that I have heard really not great things about, and an author that I'm not really sure I'm going to enjoy, is Everything the Darkness Eats. I've not heard the best of things. I have The Trees Grew because I bled here, and I'm going to keep that one, but I impulse bought this. I don't need it. Girl from Raw Blood by Catriona Ward. Her books are very hit or miss for me. Some I love, some I find way too slow, and I've heard that people that normally love her books also find this one way too slow. Don't need it on my shelves. Not actively excited to read it, therefore it is going to go. Suffer the Children by Craig DeLuey. The premise of this sounds really cool. It's like vampire kids, but I've tried to read 2 different Craig DeLuey books, and I've actually got a couple still sitting on my shelves that I'm trying to decide what to do with, but of the 3 of them that I have, this one's the one with like the lowest ratings that the people seem to like the least, and since I already am not sure that I like his writing style, I definitely don't need 3 of them. I may end up unhauling another one. Episode 13 was not working for me when I read it before either, but I know that this one needs to go. I've actually tried a chapter of it and was not sucked in by it. We are within these books to the end. Come on guys, power through, power through. Turtle Boy by Keelan Patrick Burke. I have read this. I gave it a 3-star. It was fine. I don't plan to continue on in the series. I do like his novellas. I will read more from him, but this particular one did not work for me. I'm going to be unhauling Blood of the Lion and Mark of the Damned. This is books 1 and 2 in a high fantasy series that I actually read for SPFBO and sent in as a semi-finalist year before last, but this is a 9-book series with no promise of the 3rd book in sight, and so I just cannot commit to owning 2 books in a 9-book series that I'm not sure is ever going to be completed and that I enjoyed but not enough to be strongly considering continuing anyway, so we're going to be unhauling these. But Small Miracles was also an SPFBO book, and I actually enjoyed this one. I've kept it because I have recommended it for a couple of things. Not my favorite book personally, like I enjoyed it, but I don't think I need to actively see it on my shelves. My camera battery is flashing. No, we've only got 2 books left. Heliotrope and Winds of Strife. Winds of Strife I loved, but I'm getting rid of because the author has kind of disappeared a little bit, and I don't know if the book 2 is ever coming. And so even though I enjoyed this, I'm slowly losing my memory of it. I might repurchase it if book 2 ever comes out, but as of right now, nowhere in sight. Heliotrope, just not something that I think that I'm actively interested in anymore, so I'm going to be probably unhauling this for now because I think that other people could really enjoy this. Okay, that is it. I'm gonna count all of these eventually, and I will leave a number on the screen for how many books we unhauled, but it was a lot, and there's still some that I see that I might end up getting rid of. So now I need to reorganize all of my bookshelves. Wish me luck. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have not seen one shelf, which basically prompted this yanking, then I will leave it up here on the screen for you guys. All of the channels that I mentioned will also be linked down in the description box below. If you just want to let me know that you were here and hanging out, leave me a big X emoji down in the comments below. As always, thank you guys so very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!